Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's regular council meeting. We will begin with the public question period. Do we have any questions?
Moving on the side, yes, there are two questions, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, just open it up from Anonymous. In a recent live town council meeting of November 22nd, 2021, I asked a question about the Hampstead tennis court renovations. The question was, will a new tender be put out to replace the one that has been cancelled and then signed so that the work to install new lights, redo irrigation, and then resurface the courts collectively, the renovations, can begin as soon as possible, weather permitting in the spring of 2022. The answer I received was yes, leading me to believe that the courts would be ready, albeit a bit delayed, for the summer of 2022. This is not the message I have been receiving from the head pro in a recent email. This email essentially says that it is likely that there will be no tennis for the 2022 season at Hampstead Tennis. I see a big disconnect between the answer I received at the end of November and in the end of December email. Please clarify this discrepancy and provide an update to the situation with Hampstead tennis courts. Okay, I'm not aware of any tennis pro that has been authorized to respond on behalf of the town. But in any case, Councillor Alfasi, I believe you're here in this meeting. Seeing as you're in charge of the tennis renovations, would you like to respond to this question? You're on mute. Councillor Alfasi, you're on mute.
I'm sorry, yes, thank you. Look, we had a couple of meetings with the tennis committee, and we're now in the process of putting together the call for tender. There is really no further update that I can give more than what we gave last meeting we had. I hope in February's meeting we have we'll be in a position to come up with some more concrete update for the tennis committee and for all the residents. That's all I can add.
Okay, next question. Hi, Anonymous. Douglas Schwartz of Hampstead Road. You please, guys, you guys want to mute if you're not on. Douglas Schwartz of 41 Hampstead Road. Could you please provide us a status update regarding the tennis court project? Thank you. Yeah. So as Councillor Alfasi just alluded to, we've had a couple meetings with some tennis members and other stakeholders, and we are trying as best as we can to get the tender documents ready, to get appropriate bids so that we can get the tennis courts up and running as quickly as possible. I can assure you that everyone on council and everyone in the administration sees this as a top priority, and we are doing everything we can within the law that we can to get this done as quickly as possible. That's it for questions. So now we'll move to the adoption of the agenda. It is proposed by Councillor Goldwax, seconded by Councillor
Alfasi,
and resolved that the agenda of the regular council meeting is hereby adopted as presented. 4.0. Adoption of the minutes of the regular council meeting held on December 6th, 2021, as well as that of the special council meeting held on December 14th, 2021. It is proposed by Councillor Budning, seconded by Councillor Goldwax, and resolved that the minutes of the council meetings held on December 6th, 2021 and on December 14th, 2021 are hereby approved as submitted. 5.1. Deposit of the minutes of the regular PAC meeting held on December 2021. Each member of the council having received a copy, town clerk deposits the minutes of the regular PAC meeting held on December 20th, 2021. The council takes note of the deposit of the said minutes by the town clerk. 5.2. Request to authorize the construction of a new detached single-family dwelling located at 27 Applewood, lot number 2089942, Lots to be changed. Zone RA2, zoning bylaw number 1001, SPAIP bylaw number 775. It is proposed by Councillor
Budning.
Budning, seconded by Councillor
Schaefer.
Schaefer, and resolved that the request to authorize the construction of a new detached single-family dwelling located at 27 Applewood and submitted to the Planning Advisory Committee meeting on December 20th, 2021 is deferred as recommended by the PAC. The proposed project meets the prescribed standards of the zoning bylaw number 1001 and only partially meets the prescribed standards of the site planning and architectural integration program bylaw number 775. 5.3. Request to authorize an addition of the rear yard with facade modifications for a detached single-family dwelling located at 195 Wexford Crescent. Lot number 2089044, Zone RA2, zoning bylaw 1001, SPAIP bylaw number 775. It was proposed by Councillor
Budning.
Budning, seconded by Councillor
Schaefer.
Schaefer. Resolved that the request to authorize an addition on the rear yard with facade modifications for a detached single-family dwelling located at 195 Wexford Crescent and submitted to the Planning Advisory Committee meeting on December 20th, 2021 is conditionally approved as recommended by the PAC, provided that the proposed clay brick under the ground level horizontal strip must be installed as recommended by the committee as illustrated in the 3D rendering. The masonry horizontal strip under the ground floor windows must be extended around the entrance stair for a better integration. The proposed project only partially meets the prescribed standards of the zoning bylaw number 1001 and meets the prescribed standards of the site planning and architectural integration program bylaw number 775. Anyone opposed? Adopted. 5.4. Request to authorize an addition on the left side yard for a semi-detached single-family dwelling located at 480 Dufferin. Lot number 2088556, Zone RB6, zoning bylaw number 1001, SPIP bylaw number 775. It was proposed by Councillor
Budning.
Budning, seconded by Councillor
Schaefer.
Schaefer, and resolved that the request to authorize an addition on the left side yard for a semi-detached single-family dwelling located at 480 Dufferin and submitted to the Planning Advisory Committee meeting on December 20th, 2021 is deferred as recommended by the PAC. The proposed project only partially meets the prescribed standards of the zoning bylaw number 1001 and only partially meets the prescribed standards of the site planning and architectural integration program bylaw number 775. 6.1. Deposit of the statements of pecuniary interests of members of council. Written statements of pecuniary interests of councillors Leon Alfasi and Jason Farber have been deposited at this council meeting in accordance with section 358 of the Act respecting elections and referendums in municipalities. 6.2. Federation of Canadian Municipalities election to the Board of Directors. So let me just take a minute here to explain what this resolution is about. The Federation of Canadian Municipalities is a national wide organization, a very large organization. Part of their mandate is to lobby the federal government on how the federal government should be funding certain projects at the municipal level across the country. The board of directors of the FCM consists of approximately 74 directors, consisting of, it's split between size of the province, so there are provincial caucuses. There are now 3 open board seats for this federation for the province of Quebec, and I am, as mayor, I'm putting my name forward to be able to sit on this board. There are numerous advantages of doing so. One is that it puts us in the basically a front row seat for all potential programs at the municipal level. So it gives us a first glance opportunity to see what new funding opportunities are available for Hampstead. Additionally, during the campaign, one significant issue that came up in Hampstead and even before the campaign was affordable housing, and I've made it very clear that affordable housing is not just an issue that can be solved at the municipal level, but it needs a tremendous amount of support at the federal and provincial level. So by me having a seat on the board of directors for a very large national, it's called a lobbyist group, puts me at a shorter distance to try to echo these sentiments. So in order for me to put my name forward, one of the requirements is to pass a resolution that the council approves my candidacy for the board of directors, because one of the requirements is that the town has to assume all costs associated with this. I don't think there are many costs. I think really it just has to deal with travel for board meeting participation. So whereas the Federation of Canadian Municipalities represents the interests of member municipalities on policy and program matters that fall within federal jurisdiction, whereas FCM's board of directors is comprised of elected municipal officials from all regions and sizes of communities to form a broad base of support and provide FCM with the united voice required to carry the municipal message to the federal government. It is proposed by Councillor
Schaefer,
seconded by Councillor Goldwax, and resolved that the Council of the Town of Hampstead endorses Mayor Jeremy Levi to stand for election on FCM's Board of Directors for the period ending June 5th, 2022. That the Town Council assumes all costs associated with Mayor Jeremy Levi attending FCM's Board of Directors meetings. Anyone opposed? Adopted. 7.1. Adoption of bylaw number 1010-16, entitled Bylaw Modifying Tariffs, bylaw number 1010. This resolution has to deal with I guess the programming fees that are coming forth for spring and summer with regards to recreational activities. Whereas the members of council have received a copy of bylaw number 1010-16, entitled Bylaw Modifying Tariffs, bylaw number 1010, and declared to have read it, it is proposed by Councillor
Schaefer,
seconded by Councillor
Fassi,
and resolved to approve bylaw number 1010-16, entitled Bylaw Modifying Tariffs, bylaw number 1010. 7.2. This item we're going to be deferring. It has to do with the Code of Ethics. Council.
Actually, Mr. Mayor, I'm not sure, but it might make sense to issue the notice of motion and adoption of a draft bylaw, but I believe you can still change it if there's any amendments we want to make to the adoption of a bylaw.
I think it may be advisable for the time being to defer everything. Let's see what happens, because I think that most of us want to review it more carefully.
Yeah,
I would defer it.
I would defer to.
Just to let everybody know, the reason why we're deferring it is there are some changes that have been made in the Code of Ethics that is currently adopted, and we want to make sure that the Code of Ethics, as it will be presented, is representative of this council's view on how to properly govern. So 7.2 will be deferred, as well as 7.3 will be deferred. It brings us to 8.1. Approval of the disbursements for the month of December 2021. Whereas council reviewed the list of payments for the month of December 2021, it is proposed by Councillor
Schaefer, and then Goldwax.
Seconded by Councillor
Goldwax.
Goldwax, and resolved that the disbursements for the period from November 16, 2021 to December 15, 2021 in the total amount of $1,792,858.46 are hereby approved. 8.2. Transfer of funds from appropriated surplus as detailed in the following table to cover expenses incurred in the 2021 fiscal period. It is proposed by Councillor Goldwax, seconded by Councillor
Schaefer,
and resolved that the Town Council approves the transfer of funds as further detailed in the following table for an amount of $597,300 from the appropriated surplus account 55-992-00-000 to cover expenses recorded in the 2021 fiscal period. Anyone opposed? Adopted. 8.3. Transfer of funds from appropriated surplus as detailed in the following table to cover election expenses incurred in the 2021 fiscal period. It is proposed by Councillor Fassi, seconded by Councillor
Schaefer,
and resolved the Town Council approves the transfer of funds is further detailed in the following table for an amount of $108,247 from the appropriated surplus account 55-92-00-000 to cover expenses recorded in the 2021 fiscal period. Anyone opposed? Adopted. 10.1. Approval of permanent hiring of Mr. Kristen Charlton Legris as Public Security Officer. Considering that the town of Hampstead requires the hiring of a permanent public security officer, salary grade 8. Considering that the Director of Information Security and Human Resources Director are recommending the hiring of Mr. Kristen Charlton Legris to fill such position. It is proposed by Councillor Goldwax, seconded by Councillor
Schaefer.
And resolved to approve the permanent hiring of Mr. Kristen Charlton Legris as Public Security Officer subject to the usual conditions and in accordance with the provisions of the collective agreement between CUPE Local 429 and the town of Hampstead. Anyone oppose? Adopted. 10.2. Approval of permanent hiring of Mr. Roman Grant as Public Security Officer. Considering that the town of Hampstead requires the hiring of a permanent Public Security Officer, salary grade 8. Considering that the Director of Information Security and Human Resources Director are recommending the hiring of Mr. Roman Grant to fill such position. It is proposed by Councillor Goldwax, seconded by Councillor Schaefer, and resolved to approve the permanent hiring of Mr. Roman Grant as Public Security Officer subject to the usual conditions in accordance with the provisions of the collective agreement between CUPE Local 429 and the town of Hampstead. Anyone opposed? Adopted. So now we'll just come back for a second to before we move to the second question period. I skipped this at the beginning. I usually open up the floor to councillors, and I missed it. So if there are any councillors at this time that want to talk about their portfolios or the limited portfolios that have been assigned so far, or other matters, please feel free.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind. I just want to take this opportunity. Today, the town of Hampstead issued a call for applicants that are interested in joining the Planning and Advisory Committee, or CCU. So this is a committee that meets once a month. The objective is to review all urban planning files that deal with building new construction, building additions, building modifications, facade modifications, as well as zoning changes, land planning usage. And this committee acts in an advisory capacity for the town council and provides recommendations on how the council should be moving forward with different dossiers. So we are currently soliciting applications. People that are interested must be residents of Hampstead. You must be an architect, engineer, or urban planner and be in good standing with your professional order. Anybody that is interested, or if you know somebody that does have these credentials that may be interested, please have them reach out to the town or to myself personally. We're more than happy to provide information, resources, and answer any questions. This is a committee that's required by law from Quebec, and it's one of the more unique requirements is the fact that the members must be residents of Hampstead. It's very difficult to find residents of Hampstead that want to engage and give their time to committees, but specifically that do have these professional skill sets. So if you are aware of anybody, whether they're young, old, tons of experience, new experience, looking to gain some experience, we're more than happy to open the door to anybody and everybody that's interested. So please do not hesitate, and thank you in advance.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I'd just like to share, there's been some dialogue on the Hampstead page and community dialogue as well concerning the Toboggan Hill, Hampstead Hill. And in light of the tragic incident that took place in Ottawa, the town did look at our operations and try to negate any type of incident that could happen here. Obviously, unfortunately, it takes sometimes an incident to look at ourselves and our operations, and that ultimately ended up closing the hill temporarily so that we can order certain equipment to protect the children parents who are going to be at home and enjoying the outdoors. So that did have an inconvenience of closing the hill. We are scheduled for, I believe, Mr. Sun, a Thursday opening, and we are experiencing a very deep freeze. So I know that today and tomorrow, children won't really be going outside tobogganing, but we will be making it safe and removing any type of possible protrusion that could cause an injury, whether it be fatal or even minor. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Just to echo Councillor Goldwax's sentiments, I want to apologize for anybody who felt negatively affected by this, but I just really want everybody to understand where we're coming from with this. Safety is paramount, and just thinking of it, and believe me, I got an earful from my children once I informed them that the hill was closed. But I just want everybody to know that if the hill's not safe enough for my kids, then it's not safe enough for anybody's kids. And I wanted to take a very proactive approach rather than an unfortunate accident. So we made sure we didn't cheap it on anything. We're taking full precautions. Like I said, safety is paramount, and it's a few days of inconvenience. But what we did do last week was we started turning on the exterior lights at Hampstead Park after 4:30, since it's dark now, especially for young children that have been in their house all day on virtual classes. So come 4 o'clock, 4:30, if your children want to go inside and play at the park, you should know that the very strong lights are on at Hampstead Park. So although you can't play on the hill right now for the moment, the other areas of the park are still open. Any other councillors?
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. I just want to hear once again, because I never had the chance to hear it. For the number 7.2 and 7.3, I need someone proposing and someone seconding for the points that were
deferring. We're deferring.
We're deferring those.
Yeah, but I need someone.
Okay, so I think that I propose, and I think Councillor Goldwax seconded.
Yes, to defer.
So Harvey Schaefer proposed and seconded by Councillor Goldwax.
To defer both items.
Thank you.
Yeah, 7.1 and 7.2, same thing.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks for flagging that. Okay, so if there's no other business to discuss, we'll move to the second question period. Hi, my name is.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I was going to say, Mr. Mayor, there are some questions that are on the next.
Yeah, I can see that. Thanks. Hi, my name is Chow Wang, 14 Fallbrook Place.
He talks again, another question explaining that. I think he either entered too quickly. You'll see another question further down.
All right, so I'll come back and I'll just read them in order. From Anonymous, is there any reason why the mayor has not provided any introductory or welcoming message to residents? Also, seeing the pandemic that we find ourselves in, has any information provided for residents in terms of activities? It's very disheartening not to have strong leadership during such challenging times. Any comments? Okay, I'll address that in each particular order. So introductory or welcoming message. I mean, I thought I welcomed everybody to the meeting, but if it wasn't sufficient, I apologize. If you care to send me suggestions on how I can better welcome or open the meeting, I am all ears. I have no objection to constructive criticism. With regards to the pandemic, the activities are obviously limited. There are certain winter activities that are available right now. There are ice skating rinks at several parks. We have the main ones at Hampstead Park, and new this year we have opened up a little kiddie skating rink for beginners and young children who don't feel safe or comfortable on the larger rinks that are usually reserved for hockey. So this small rink, which is right next door, I think it's right behind the tennis courts or right next to the tennis courts. It's there really for young children who really just want to learn how to skate. We also have a skating rink at Applewood and Ellerdale, I believe that there's a skating path. There's, like we said, the Toboggan Hill. We're working on improving the safety of that. We mentioned that starting last week, we've changed the timers on the lights with regards to the fact that it gets dark early now, so young children, and it doesn't have to be young children, it could be anybody who wants to play, and I've seen quite a bit of different age groups playing at night. In addition, all of this is posted on the town's website and the town's Facebook page. It's very disheartening not to have strong leadership during such challenging times. I don't really know what you're expecting in terms of strong leadership at a municipal level in terms of the pandemic. We have very limited resources in what we can do. Unfortunately, town hall is closed. But you know, if you want to reach out, I don't know who you are. If you want to reach out to me, send me an email, or anybody else on council. I'm sure they would welcome this email and see how we can help you.
Mayor, we also, I think, cleared the pathway. People want to walk around Hampstead Park. We've cleared that so they can exercise by walking around the park on the pathway.
Yeah.
Some people actually take cross-country skis and parallel it and just go around the interior inside of the pathway to as an exercise as well.
But as you said, we have limited facilities under the circumstances.
Okay, I hope I addressed that. Hi, my name is Chow Wang, 14 Fallbrook Place. I'd like to discuss the repeating damages by the town snow removal trucks at my place. Mr. Wang, I've received your emails. I believe the town has responded. Unfortunately, I don't think that you see it as satisfactory. So let me just rehash a few points that were recently brought to my attention. Your lot is a unique lot, as there's a very a particular curve on the sidewalk that needs to be cleared. So it makes it extra challenging for the public works crew to clear that area. They have been advised of this issue, and we're constantly looking at it, and we're constantly being told that they're going to be more cautious with it. The grass and the grass that's on that property, because of that, the grass that's right next to the sidewalk is actually town property. That grass, if it's damaged, will be repaired in the springtime. Any claim, and I want to put this out there, not just for Mr. Wang, but for any resident that is listening and suffers any type of damage, you can make a claim to the city, and each claim will be properly investigated. And if it's warranted, the town will make the appropriate reparations after the winter season. That's all I can say about that right now. If you want further clarification, or if it's a repeating issue, please continue to flag this to us. Peter Weinberg, can we ask questions? Yes, absolutely. Peter Weinberg, I have two issues. One, we have a street light that has not been functioning for at least 6 months. Cressy, corner of Heath. Please advise when it will be repaired. Two, there is an empty lot adjacent to my house that has changed hands a few times. Excuse me, and construction noise appears to be permitted 7 days a week year-round. As you know, our summer season is very short and is very disturbing. It is very disturbing to sit outside in the middle of the summer listening to blasting noise from construction. I propose that the laws be changed to not allow residential construction on weekends during the summer. Thank you for consideration. So let's deal with your first issue, streetlights that has not been functioning for at least 6 months. Mr. Sun, are you aware of this issue?
Yes, I am aware of this issue. There is a problem with the underground cabling on Cressy where Mr. Wainbird has mentioned. We are trying to fix it, and so far not too much success. So we may have to excavate in spring and really redo the whole cabling and all the connections. Okay, Public Works is well aware of it. It is on our to-do list. And I apologize that it has been dark for a little while, and we will try and see if we could bring in an alternate source of light.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest. If we could have a temporary light on that area until this gets resolved, please.
Yes, sir.
Second question, there's an empty lot. Okay, so the proposal for not allow residential construction on weekends. I will have this discussion with council. I don't necessarily opposed to this idea. I think every idea should be discussed. I don't know what the end result will be, but I'm happy to have this discussion. If there are any councillors now that want to offer their opinion on the matter or want to think about it, and then we could have this discussion collectively.
I think we just haven't discussed this in the past. I think it merits some investigation. I'm not sure what percentage of projects are being constructed on weekends. I think we should discuss, and we'll circle back to Mr. Wainberg.
I agree with Councillor Bunning.
Okay, great, will do. Anonymous, it was an introductory as your role as mayor on November 19th. Not too sure what that means. Peter Wainberg, what is the update for the tennis renovation project? If you were not here for the first question period, this came up, and we basically said that the town has met with stakeholders, tennis committee members, to try to put a new plan together, and we are doing everything we can in terms of council and the administration to put forth new tender for bid. And the goal is to get this done as quickly as possible. Everybody sees this as a top priority, and we want this done. Hi, my name is Chow Wang, 14 Ballbrook Place. So now we are facing three dilemmas. One, if we don't put reflectors, the truck damages the grass, pavé uni, natural stone, irrigation, etc. However, if we put reflectors, the truck damages all these as well, plus the reflectors. Two, the more we indulge this kind of misconduct, the more damages will happen. Three, now we are in a closed circle of damage. Claim, repair, damage again. Claim, repairs, damage again. So I can certainly see that it's frustrating, and I empathize with you. And I had a discussion with Director General earlier on this, and we're certainly going to be paying closer attention to this particular property, because, like I said before, this doesn't happen often. It's not common. It's because of the unique curve on your property that it's becoming an issue. So we're going to see if there's a better way that we can do this. Anonymous, what are the start and end dates for the FCM Quebec director position that Mayor Levi will apply for? I heard June 5th. Thank you. If this question ends up being sent more than once, is because I was not sure if it was going through. So yeah, so the reason why it's a very short term of June 5th is because there were one of the requirements to be on the board of directors is that you need to be an elected official. I think there were 3 Quebec individuals on the board that after the November 7th election, for whatever reason, maybe they didn't run for re-election, or maybe they did not win the election, but because they are no longer elected officials, they cannot sit on board. So this is kind of like let's call it similar to a by-election, just to fill up the vacancy until June 5th, and then there will be another round of nominations after that time. Stephen Kovac, 34 Glenmore. I believe the previous question may have been in regards to the mayor's message on the Hampstead website. Does the mayor plan to use that avenue as a method of communicating with the citizens? Yeah, so that's one of the things that I've been thinking about on how to best communicate. In the past, I don't personally, I don't believe that avenue was used in the best sense that it could. Same thing with the quarterly newsletters. I think it's really appropriate to bring forth messages and information that is of importance. And when the time is right, and I feel that there is something that is worthy and pertinent to share, I will share it. But I'm not just going to share a message just for the sake of sharing a message. Hi, my name is Chow Wang, 14 Place Fallbrook. I can't do this as a routine.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, you missed a question.
Yeah, from Steve. Another question. Steve Kovac, another question.
Okay, Stephen Kovac, 35 Glenmore. Is there a plan for the website to be updated in regards to posting budgets for the next year and updating the goals of the city for the next 4 years? So as a whole, we are revamping the entire website. We want to be able to put in a lot more information than just on budgets for the next year and updating the goals of the city for the next 4 years. But since you asked about this, we are finalizing the budget. The budget will be presented, I believe, at the end of this month. So I think from a legal perspective, we cannot publish the budget yet, and the goals for the next 4 years. In fact, from a budgetary perspective, we're actually now doing a 5-year outlook that has not been done in the past, or it has not been done in the recent past, but now we're looking out at the next 5 years. In addition to that, as I mentioned before, we're revamping the website, and we wanted to have a lot more valuable content and information. My name is Chow Wang, 14 Fallbrook Place. I can't do this as a routine every winter. I hear you loud and clear. I got the message, and we're going to be paying closer attention to this. Jared Clayman, sorry, can you repeat where is the new skating rink for beginners that you mentioned earlier? I didn't catch the location. Thanks. Sure. So at Hampstead Park, if you know where the existing skating rinks are, there is a new skating rink just for kids in between the existing skating rinks and the tennis courts. So I believe it's right behind where there are some flagpoles. Yeah. Hi, my name is Chow Wang, 14 Fallbrook Place. It says from the city website, for any property damage to your land, house, or vehicles, you must also send your claim to your insurance company. However, we all know this will trigger a huge jump of the insurance premium. This is a punishment to the residents who make a claim to the city. Okay. I don't know if it's necessarily a punishment. It's insurance. That's why we have insurance. I mean, accidents happen, and we need to be able to have safeguards in place to make up for mistakes. Okay. Hi, my name is Chow Wang, 14 Fallbrook Place. Residents must notify the city within 14 days the damage is caused. What if the residents are away from the house?
Way.
Sorry?
Mayor Jeremy, it's 15 days, not 4 days.
Okay. The residents must notify the city within 15 days the damage is caused. What if the residents are away from the house for a long time, like the snowbirds? When they are back from vacation in the spring, seeing the broken reflectors, chipped pave uni, and torn lawn, no witness, no camera, is it possible for them to make a claim, or they can only admit it a bad luck? There was a decision of a case about a Hampstead resident who lost his claim at small claim court just because he didn't manage to notify the city within 14 days after the damage. It's an excellent question. Councillor Schaefer, who's in charge of legal, do you have any Any comments on this?
Basically speaking, what Mr. Wang said, I believe is true, but I think there are certain extenuating circumstances where if you institute your legal proceedings within the 6-month delay, I believe from recollection that there is a possibility you can still maintain your claim. However, this is based on my, from what I've studied in the past, not recently, but basically I think Mr. Wang is quite correct that the important thing in general situations is that you send your mise en demeure or your notice within the 15 days.
Is that, and just for my knowledge and for everybody who's listening, the 15 days, is that from when the individual becomes aware of the damage?
Generally speaking, I don't think that you can, I think that should be the sensible way of determining it, but if you can't really use the notion of the 15 days and the situation occurred several months afterwards, and then you say you only notice it then, I don't think that a court will look very highly upon such a contention. Generally speaking, I think it should be 15 days of knowledge, yes, if it's reasonable, but I don't think that you can really say that you have to count the 15 days from the date the damage was caused.
Yeah, because I mean, this
You have to be reasonable.
Mr. Wang brings up a valid point that if a snowplow damages property and then 2 days later there's another major snowstorm,
Exactly.
and nobody had the time to view the damage, and then it doesn't thaw or melt until the spring. Councillor Goldbach, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, thank you very much. The thing is that in the case of a damage to property from a snowplow, if in that situation where there's damage effectively, let's say Jan 1 and then a major snowfall, we don't see anything until April when everything thaws out, the damage caused by the snowplow will be pretty apparent to the homeowner and the city as well, coming in, let's say, damaging the property, the grass, whatever, just near the sidewalk. It'll be pretty apparent that it's caused by that. And we've never in my history, almost 16 years on council, actually ever refused somebody's grass being repaired, because we do take care of that.
What Councillor Goldbach says is quite true, dealing with damage to grass, but you're talking about other situations whereby you could determine the damage much earlier. That's why I said reasonableness is a factor.
Right. Okay, very good. Any other business?
No.
I just one quick thing. I just wanted to welcome Maître Alexandre Dolan, our new town clerk. So it's her first meeting with us, and we look forward to working with you and productive mandate ahead.
I second that.
Thank you very much.
I third that.
No, you fourth it, I would third it.
All right, let's move for adjournment. It's proposed by Councillor
Schaefer.
seconded by Councillor
Goldbach.
that this meeting be adjourned at 8:44 p.m.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Good evening, everybody. Please stay safe.